maybe not. Maybe
Oh,
no.
there
No,
we go.
no. There we are now. There. I'm playing around looking at stuff. Good thing I got a double recording running. It's well, we run doubles because Rumble picks up on its own and runs. It starts by itself.
Mm.
It's time for 10 after, so it picks it up automatically. So God knows what we was listening to. We may have to do some editing. Anyway, welcome everyone to the Authors Quill. You see, we have John down here with his good looking wife. His wife told me I can't call him sexy anymore. I don't know what that's about. But she's, I'm not gonna say that now. Next, we have April Solomon up here, the dragon. April's a blast to talk to. She's a
Aw, thanks.
fabulous, fabulous artist as well, which we'll get into that in a little bit. As a matter of fact, the book she's in for L. Ron Hubbard's Writers of the Future, Writers and Illustrators of the Future is right here. And I was just showing her artwork, but y'all didn't get to see it because we didn't have the thing on, so you'll get to see it in a minute when I open it back up. And that's Tom Wood's dragon, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
And then we're going to see April's dragon and what's inside there, which is
Tom Wood. I'm just messing around. Listen, if you don't know who Tom Wood is, just look him up. Just type in Illustrator Tom Wood. It'd probably be the best way to look him up. He's an interesting fellow, and we will leave it at that. Anyways, so before Tom's great. He's always fun. I always love picking on him too. Man. He's
you like picking on everybody, Joe.
Only people I like. If I don't like you, I ain't gonna pick on you. Just so if you're ever talking to me, I'm like, yeah, nice to meet you. Yeah, okay. And you know me like two. Been knowing me while I'm still like that means I don't really like you. So just know it ahead of time. I'll be honest with y'all up front. Only pick on people I like. So that's why some particular people go insane. I think. But anyway, maybe it's one of them things. So I mean, what have you been up to? So were you at Dragon Con? Were you getting trouble up there?
Yeah, April is like the queen of the ball. Let me tell you.
I should get my awards, right?
No, it was crazy. She ruled so she was we originally met her, I guess 4 years ago at Dragon Con in the art show because she was at a table right next to our table for Illustrators of the Future. And so Kim Catalano, one of our staff, was there and just chatted her up and they became friends and told her, we should enter this contest. So she did and won and came out, and her whole thing was, I don't care about anything else. I just wanted, her idol was a guy named Larry Elmore, and she just wanted to meet him. So I introduced her to him after the Dragon Con and before coming out in April, after winning, I introduced her to him. And so when she came out, she actually met him and was just kind of like, just every spare moment she could have with him, she was, and just clung on to him,
Yeah.
And he was so funny how he reacted to her because he's so humble and such a, quiet guy. And then just, you got this wild woman from Los Angeles just clinging all over him, just like total fangirl, just to the nth degree.
Yep.
And he loved it, but obviously April loved it. But anyway, so that was that 3 years ago or 4 years ago, April?
I think it was 3 years ago now.
Yeah, 3 years ago.
Yeah, or like 2. It
wasn't, because that's when we met you at Dragon Con first.
That's right. Yeah. So I guess it would be 3 years ago.
Yeah.
When I met you and when all of this
then she entered the contest. Yeah. She won, and 2 years ago she came out.
That worked with him over there. Huh? There's some strangers there. I'm just saying.
And then, that year at Dragon Con, I introduced her to the head of the blood drive, who they always have the T-shirt. If you donate blood, you get a special T-shirt, which is a dragon. So she was commissioned to do the dragon for the following years, which was last year's dragon. Was it last year, 2 years ago? But so she did the dragon for it, which was awesome because there's like 3,000 people that donate blood. So her T-shirt, her art went around to 3,000 people. Just all people were wearing all throughout Dragon Con. And then this year, she had all of our art on display. So I'll turn it over to you now, April, to tell your story of how you were just kind of like, the end of it was that she was on the floor just totally like a blithering blob. But anyway, so up to that point.
That's sweet.
Thank you for filling that story all the way up till now, John. That was great. So every year at Dragon Con, they have this art show and the art show has a gallery wall that all the artists can hang their work on and there's like essentially 4 very long walls, and they're kind of in between the art show, and people hang up their work. And so everyone who goes to the art show, you can also go and see the gallery wall and see everyone else's work and see what they do. And people will, the artists will submit their art on the gallery wall for contests for, like, best fantasy, best sci-fi, best sculpture, best jewelry. But in my case, what I really wanted this year was best dragon. That was the only award I cared about. So I have this oil painting I did of a gold dragon, and I painted it when I was in art college. And my boyfriend, who's so sweet, he got it framed. And so I was like, okay, I'm going to enter this painting. I'm going to ship it from California to Atlanta, and then I'll have a nice original frame painting to put on the gallery wall. And that'll be the painting that I'm really hoping will win the prize of Best Dragon. Well, not only did I win Best Dragon, and I was very surprised to get the other 2 awards. I got second place in Artist Choice, and then I got Best in Show. I was so surprised. I'm like, me? Like, what about everyone? Like, I'm surrounded by so many amazing artists, and I'm humbled every time I go. And these artists now are really good friends of mine, and I'm so grateful to say that. But I was really just surprised, and so I got the awards here to show you. So here's the Dragon Con Best Dragon. It doesn't say the name because the awards will, it's all voting, like right then and there on the spot. And then this is the Artist Choice second place.
Cleaning up at the Dragon Con.
And then here's my Best in Show plaque that they gave me. So cool. Isn't that neat?
That's very cool.
Right? It's so heavy too.
I know, it looks like it. It looks like you waxed my head with
pounds. Yeah. So that was just such an amazing, humbling experience to get 3 awards. I didn't expect that at all. So, Dragon Con for me every year has just grown to be something better and better every year. And then having, Galaxy Press be there every year, I look forward to seeing my family, my friends, and because you guys have become my family. You guys have supported me since the beginning, and I owe a lot to you guys. So and I get to do the lectures every year, and that's really the panels. Panels that we get to do.
Yeah.
And we also had Nick Gisbo also won Best Science Fiction Painting.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so he was a winner also. Is he awesome. Was he your year?
I don't know.
No, was he year before?
Maybe, I think. So
anyway, he was right. So, but anyway, he was also a recent winner for the Illustrators of the Future. So he won Best Science Fiction, which is really cool. So, and we have so many Illustrators of the Future winners that participate in the Dragon Con art show. So you have your booth. There's Bruce Bernise has a booth. Nick Gisbo has a booth.
And Echo, I mean, she's the art director, but she's there, right, at Dragon Con and the main show, I believe.
Yeah. And then Alicia, I think it was Lazarus that was there because she couldn't make it. She had another thing, another deadline she had to do. So Laz was there. And then there was 3 or 4 others, 5 others that also had booths there going back over the years. So it's great just having so many writers and illustrators of the future winners and judges that are represented at Dragon Con, which is great because Dragon Con, Emily and I had lunch with Pat and Sherry Henry. He's the CEO of Dragon Con, and just such a nice couple. But we really enjoy their company and their whole family because their daughters are the ones that are now running the Dragon Con. And he was a keynote speaker half a dozen years ago at Writers of the Future at the awards event. And he obviously talked about dragons and all the significance of a dragon, the different kinds of dragons and different colors, what the significances of them. So it was great, but he's just, they make sure that we have ample space and that our winners get, well attended to. And so it's great because those are the people that were in the show floor. But then we also had another 4 or 5 illustrators at our booth at in the main show, and that was, so it was just so nice. And it's we're such good partners working with them to be able to celebrate the arts, writers and artists. So it's really good because we make such amazing friends. Like, you're one of those people that I'm going to be keeping my feelers on as time goes on, because I'm always looking for the people that we can trust to continue carrying the torch, as life progresses for people. People come and go as life cycles go, and so I'm always looking for, the people that are going to be able to continue on with what then basically what the contest is created for by L. Ron Hubbard back in '83, to provide that means for the aspiring writer and artist. So, people like yourself are living examples of giving the right, encouragement, the right recognition, your ability just to take off. It's your talent, but it's just getting some little help on paving the way and keeping the barriers clear, so you can just have a chance to fully grow, which is what is so exciting.
Which I really appreciate. You to have that support and help. I would have never gotten where I am today if it wasn't for the help and support of others in my life.
Yeah.
So it's important.
We need to have Elon Musk. He needs to commission the first dragging Mars photo or picture. I wonder how oil would do on Mars. It is 1/3 gravity. It ought to be interesting.
I don't think it would flow very well because it's so cold. I don't think it would. I think it would be pretty. That'd be hard to work with.
Be right back, y'all.
I think the dragon would have to be painted here and then transported to Mars and framed up there.
Yeah, the first oil painting framed on Mars. Yeah.
Yes. But it would be the first painting on Mars.
Yeah. That would be a very interesting experience.
Yeah. How long does it take for oil to be set enough that it can actually be rolled and stored?
It would be, my brain wants to think about all the scientific things that would be, like you store oil paint in tubes, but what would the pressure do, or what would the temperatures do? I don't know. That would be interesting to find out. Only by doing it could you find out if it would work or not. I don't know.
So if it was on Earth, how long would it take for you to be able to paint something and be able then to roll it up and put it and tube it?
And then tube it to Mars?
Just tube it in general, just on Earth. How long would it take for it to be dry enough?
Oh, well, I don't paint very thick. They call that impasto, like really thick paint. I don't really paint thick. So my painting can dry within a couple of days.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And so I layer and then when I get to the bright highlights, then you dab it on, and it's like a mini gob of toothpaste. You just gob it on there, and that's what makes the highlights shine. But that would take, so the thicker it's applied, the longer it takes to dry.
Right.
So, but I know artists who have to wait months and years even before their paint is dry, before they can clear coat it. It's crazy. Like I can wait a month and it's dry, or a week. So.
But then those are the paintings that are like 1/4 of an inch thick or something.
Yeah, like people who use like palette knives, and they coat it on like frosting, on a cake, just like an inch thick of frosting, like paint. And
wow,
that would take a long time to dry, and you better have a lot of paintings on the conveyor belt, because imagine like waiting a year before you could sell a painting because you needed to wait till it was dry. You got to have a lot of paintings ready to go and ready to, unless you sold that one painting for $1 million, then you might be okay.
So do you have your painting ready for that $1 million?
I mean, I keep telling myself 5 more years, and you know, I always feel like I'm never ever quite there to where I want to be. And you know, and I was talking to Larry Elmore about this, and he's like you said, he's so humble. He's like,
No.
he's just one of my favorite people. And you know, and he said to me, he said in his Kentucky accent, I can't like replicate a Kentucky accent, but I'll try. But he says to me, April, I'm almost 80 years old, and I'm still just trying to paint one good painting. I'm like, Larry, but then he explained to me, but it's that pursuit that drives us. And I was like, okay, I identify with that. But he's so sweet. Like, and I loved hearing that from Larry Larry Elmore saying that he's still trying to paint one good painting, because that's how I always feel. I feel like I always, you know, no matter how much I plan, no matter how much I learn, I always arrive to the painting. Like, I try and achieve 100%, but I always land at somewhere around 80, 85. And, you know, I'll never quite get there. And, you know, and people around me are like, well, what are you talking about, April? Like, you're there. What do you mean you're not there? I'm like, I honestly feel like I need 5 more years. And maybe that's what my voice tells me is, you know, I'll get there. I just not there yet. I just like a little carrot, you know, just got to keep chasing that carrot.
Well, I think it's a good, I guess it's a good mantra to have. I mean, because Larry's had that for 5-6 decades, you know, and it's done him well. Now his sketches are selling for $10,000-$20,000 a piece. He's ready to shred it all. And his partner, his friend said, no, let me see if I could do something on eBay. And then all of a sudden he tells his stories. And my sketch, I was going to throw it away. I got $20,000. You know, he was just like, yeah. So it's great. More power to him, because he is so good in what he does, and his care and his paintings. It's like it's amazing to me. You know, when he told that story, someone told him, oh yeah, I recognize that's an Elmore rock. I said, what do you mean it's an Elmore rock? I said, your rocks all look the same. And then he decided, okay, I'm gonna have a look at a rock, and he realized that it is. I don't see rocks as different from one another. So then he really started getting into rocks, and then he got into water, like running water and waterfalls, and realized his waterfalls were all the same. And so he started really paying attention to them and what makes water, and because his ability to deal with people and plants is just, you know, second to none. But then getting to these other things, I mean, he's always upping his game, you know, just so it's an amazing testament to, you know, you can be an amazingly successful artist, but yourself see that you know, I got more to learn.
That's right. Yeah. I think as soon, and I think you definitely hit the nail on the head. There's more to learn. There's always more to learn. And I always kind of like metaphorically explain painting or art in itself like a giant house. And it's got all these rooms, and I want to explore all of the rooms with all the little intricacies. And then I think I know every room in that house really well.
Yeah.
But then I find the secret key and I unlock this door, and then it opens up this whole new part of the house I never knew existed. And now I get to go explore all those rooms and what they are about, and it's never finished. And I love that. I love that those nuances will always hold so much information for me to dive into, and to have conversations like this with people who love the journey of learning about it. And knowing you're never going to graduate. I'm never going to, you know, suddenly just know everything there's to know about painting, and then I might not paint anymore. I don't know, like well, figure that out, you know, and move on to something else.
Well, like becoming on short of it's Bob Eggleton. I mean, he's won, I think, 13 Chesleys and a dozen Hugos, all kinds of awards. He's crazy good, but he's also, you know, he's also gone overall. He does his seascapes, and he does these other landscapes, and he's done theme parks. So it's the other thing too is branching out to other forms of art and then letting them, how do they influence the other? And it can't help but expand and enhance your main form of art, but then your main form of art when you want to move over into, look, I want to try something else now, just to keep the interest level up. All of a sudden now you've got your seascapes have certain qualities that you're able to bring from your fantasy art, and and then when you go back to fantasy, your other more pastoral type paintings can influence that with the way that the colors work or the contrast works. So it just seems to me like it's easy for me to say, or maybe it's not easy to say, but I'm not good at drawing or painting. This is here's your page, and you're just so amazing. Why don't you explain your art there?
Okay. Thank you. So yeah, you're looking at my website, which is aprilsolomonart.com. Try to keep it really simple so it's easy to remember. Yeah, April Solomon Art, my first and last name. And so let's see. So we've got, I think this is the product page. Yeah. So this is the page where if you want to see what products I have available, my inventory is pretty small right now. I need to increase it, but I have some self-published books available that are limited edition. I only printed 250 of these books, and for every book that I sell in person, I do a little drawing. So you get an original sketch with every book. You can buy it online, but I don't draw in the book online. I draw in them, when I'm in person and you buy it from me. And then I have some prints and some original paintings as well. Again, all my inventory is not up on my website right now. I need to add it all.
Bad April, bad.
I know. But I'm being honest. And I've got my fine art page and I have my illustration page, which when I was talking to Lazarus during my portfolio review, he gave me some really awesome suggestions. And he said that if art directors are coming to my website and you have an illustration page, then they can have an idea of what your work will look like if you get hired for a job. So it has a different level of finish. And then fine art still has a level of finish, but illustration is more related to the art of storytelling. If, I want to get hired by Magic or D&D or, any kind of book publishing company who wants me to do a book cover, then they can at least have an idea of what I can deliver for them.
Is that what your ultimate goal is? Is it to work for like one of those companies like D&D or
I'd love
book covers
to.
or
I keep getting so close. I always over the years I've known a friend of a guy of an art director. And now I know a friend of an art director. Now I know an art director, and it keeps getting closer.
Yeah.
And I have friends who work in, the companies, and, and I just keep figuring out how to adjust my portfolio so they look at it and go, oh, okay, we can hire her. So I'm just being patient and I'm just working at it, and, I know it'll be the time when it's the right time. And in the meantime, I'll just keep bothering them,
Yeah.
Okay.
This piece, yeah.
Yeah, well, I'll leave it. This. Wait, where'd it go? I lost. Okay, see, we're going to rename this to the Mardi Gras Dragon. It looks,
He
looks like he should be on bourbon. It's
Yeah, he's drinking bourbon, fire whiskey, bourbon.
Right. Give him a hurricane.
See the beads? I see beads. Yeah.
Yeah, it's all kind of good stuff in there. I love what you
maybe
did.
Joe can help you on that, April, by submitting it to Joe knows everybody, so he can maybe submit.
I wish. Everybody I know is retiring or dying, one or the other.
We'll get them before they die. Then
it's kind of funny. It's kind of weird at the same time, though. It's no, I love. I don't know, something about that eye, man. I want to make a marvel out of that or something.
Yeah, that was a fun piece. That was actually a piece I did for when I was with DCD Collects. They're a really great company. They deal with collectibles, but they also hire artists to do work for these box breaks that they do on like live. They open up boxes and they're themed around it could be fantasy or horror or portraits but they'll commission artists to do original art. So every box you buy has an original piece of art. If it's like a trading card size or a 8x10, but it's all random. You never know what you're going to get. And so they asked me to be at their booth one year at the San Diego Comic-Con. And Doug Dreyer, he's the owner of the company, great guy. And so he asked me, he's like, well, could you do a piece, to hang in our booth so that you have a nice showpiece? And so that dragon, I did that for that year. And I think that was 3 years ago now.
It's a good looking dragon.
Well, that's the year you came to our booth and signed, April?
That was the year before I think that was the year I met you guys.
Okay.
Yeah. I think that was because I went to San Diego Comic-Con. I was there for a day. And then, then I went out to do Dragon Con later that same year. Then I met you.
Came back the year later to do the San Diego?
Yeah.
Yeah, after you won, the year that you won, Rise of Future, Illustrators of Future, then that following July is when you came in to San Diego again for the Comic-Con. Because I remember you were signing at our booth.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yeah. That was really fun. I would love to bring the original painting sometime if you ever have the room. It's so giant, but I'd love to bring it sometime if you want.
Yeah, we can do something like if you come. Well, if you're definitely at Atlanta, you've already got your own booth there. But at San Diego, we can do a thing when you come and when you're there. We have a 2-hour slot. You can put your painting up there, and we can have you signing.
Yeah, and then I can take it back with me, so you have that space again. Sure.
Because we only have a 10x10, but it's prime real estate there, right there in the corner of the main aisle. So
it really is.
It's a really good space. It's just we only have the 10x10.
Yeah, I know. It's amazing how small that space can feel when you have so much stuff to sell. It's
And considering when we were in Atlanta, we had a 10x30 foot space in addition to the two booths we had, the two spaces we had in the art show. And then in Salt Lake City, we had 20 feet by 30 feet, which is 6 booth spaces.
That's nice.
Yeah, it was really nice it was very open, but we had so much stuff there. So many people, which works out great,
Mm-hmm.
What else we got here now? Oh, what's that?
So that's the Dragon Con design I did last year for the t-shirt. And that was an oil painting, 24 by 30 inches. And that was a lot of fun to do. And it was so cool to see it on the back of t-shirts. I've never seen my work on the back of a shirt before. And, and I wanted so bad to walk up to random people and just kind of tap them on the shoulder and be like, I did that. But I never did that because that's just too weird. But, I was just so giddy and happy to see people respond to it so positively. And that was really neat.
You should have just walked up with a pen and just signed the bottom of it.
I did have people come up to my booth and they asked me to sign their t-shirt. And I was like, oh, okay. I felt like a little mini celebrity for that year. That was really fun.
Cool. Autographs are weird. It's weird when people ask you for autographs, but everybody always says you'll get used to it. I'm like, no, you don't. But I mean, maybe if you're Taylor Swift, you'll get used to it. But the rest of us normal people, not so much. It's still a little weird.
Yeah, I'm like, you want my signature? Me?
Oh, my favorite thing is when they ask my wife for permission to get my signature, my autograph. That shit's just too funny. She just looks at him like, really? Yeah, sure, go ask. He's right there. It's just like,
gotta go through the gatekeeper to get to you.
And it's a friend of mine's like, we were somewhere and he's like, man, everybody's asking for your autograph. I said, yeah, but we were just in that store down the street. Nobody knew who the hell I was. I was like, it's all about where you are and what group of people you're with. That's all. It's a lot of fun. But Dragon Con's always a lot of fun. I mean, I always have a good time when I'm there. And there's always a lot of good people there. And there's just so much to see and do.
I've only seen the art show. I'm working the whole time. So I know there's a lot of stuff to do.
When I see you working girl, you have to stay there with the booth. Well, not all the time. So
but she's great when she breaks out for that 1 hour to do the panel. It's great because she's able to provide really good tips and information. You know, these guys. Which panel were you on? Were you in the one where the alarm was going off the whole time, or were you the one before that?
Emily told me all about it, and you guys should have some kind of brownie badge or patch or something that you could put on a jacket, because to do what you guys did during the alarm going off, that's amazing.
It was pretty wild. It was
wow.
It was pretty...
My God. Yeah, I heard someone like set off the fire alarm at 5 a.m. at the hotel, and it didn't stop till like 1
o'clock.
Noon? Yeah, 1
o'clock. Yeah. But they couldn't turn it off, but the hotel couldn't turn it off. You needed to have the fire department there, and the hotel didn't have keys for it. It had to be the third-party company that installed the alarm system. So you had to have them there with the fire marshal. And so they both had keys to be able to turn it off. So you had, it's probably more secure than what the U.S. government does on setting off an atomic bomb. You know, you had to both go in and turn the key at the same time to shut off the alarm.
Yeah, one of our high-end properties were like that. And I remember the lady called my company. She said, "Joe, this is going to take hours." I said, "I'll come over there." I walked in. I said, "That's a box right there." I said, "Now look." I said, "Here, sign this." I said, "Because I'm going to damage the box." I said, "So I'm not going to pay for it." It was 3 minutes later. It was peaceful and quiet again. They were like, "How the hell did you do that?" I said, "I popped the lock in the box, went in, unplugged the 2 identifying circuits, and now it's just sitting there." I said, "Well, all I got to do is come turn it off and plug it in. It'll be working fine again." Man, because I couldn't play because it was one of them ones that was really loud. I had a it was like a wah sound. Oh, it was horrible.
It was like ours.
Yeah, it's
deafening.
I mean, I know why they do that, because you're in a hotel. There's a lot of people. They want to make sure you get out, but that causes as much panic as it helps. Actually,
well, it would be nice if they had something at the MGM. What was that? 20 years ago, 30 years ago, in Las Vegas.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Actually, yeah, I remember.
Yeah.
So when you're gonna do your Blue Dog Dragon pictures, you know how like they did the Blue Dog series. I don't mean like the Blue Dog, but I mean like that type of series. You know, that way you could do like 12, maybe a dragon a month or something.
I'm not sure about the Blue Dog thing. I don't know what that is.
Well, I have
you don't have Blue Dog in California. I thought that's where it started at, was in California.
I'm not saying you didn't. I just don't know what it is.
Oh man, that's it. That's it. We're gonna do it, John. It's anyway, you'll see it. You'll just type it in and you'll see it. It's just one of them dumb things.
Now I'm curious. Now I'm gonna have to look it up.
It's one of them dumb things. They all went to auction. So it was like when they were doing down here, they did the pelican thing where they made these pelicans and they set them out on all the different corners in front of all the buildings. And then they made these signs to show you where the fun stuff was in different areas. They were just numbered. They would be like a picture of a shrimp and a number next to it or something. People started stealing the signs. It was I was like, get out of here, man. It's they were trying to make it easy. Yeah, well, they were just trying to make it easy for tourists. You know, have a little map. You get the little map when you come in town. You'll see the little thing, little emblem on it. Go place to place, but they just kept snatching them. So the guy, by the way, the reason I brought it up was the guy who painted the little shrimp. You know, he's a shrimp, just a shrimp, nothing special, on an orange background, was paid $500 a sign.
Wow.
You know how many signs they bought?
A lot.
25,000.
Holy shit. Wow, you're set, dude.
I wish I would have been smarter. It was just the dumbest thing I ever seen. I mean, you could have probably went and bought a decal cheaper than that. And, you know, just put a decal on it or something. I don't know. I thought it was a little weird because usually down here, that's what they do at street signs, is they put these up.
Good for him. That's retirement right there.
No, yeah. Well, it's like the guy who did, I think his name was Larry Hatch. Is he Larry Hatch, Larry Harris? He did 10 years of Mardi Gras posters for New Orleans for the Mardi Gras, because every year New Orleans has a specific poster designed every year. And so he did 10 years worth. He did the demon and the angel and the devil posters.
Ooh, that's fun.
So, you know, then there's a bunch of, I got lucky and bought one of his oils. I had no idea what he had. And this old gal I paid $750 for. I think I sold it See, it was 35,000 is actually what I got for it at auction, and I had no idea what he had. But anyway, well, the first year they put him out. There was a good poster. A lot of people bought it. I think about 2 million posters sold. I think he was getting. I think they were going for about. No, I think they were $19.99 in the plastic frame, $9.99 rolled, and $30 if you got them in like that black lacquer frame. So it was 2 million. I think he was getting somewhere. It was 20% off the sales, so he did okay. By his third year, the ones where the devil stands in the middle, and there's a she-male devil and a she-male angel standing on each side. That one sold like 22 million posters at $30 a poster.
Wow, that's so cool.
He got 60% on those.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, he retired multi-millionaire. Yeah, what the hell. But you know, Tom told me the same thing when he did the black light dragon poster, the fire orange poster that sold. I think he said they sold 2 million at Walmart. His first poster out.
Wow.
You know,
did he get commission on that, or
I don't exactly remember what he told me, but
royalty?
I think he said they got like $1 a poster, but that's still $2 million.
That's right. Yeah. But Tom is he's a very smart businessman.
He's a shrewd, he's shrewd. But he told me, I remember we were talking, he told the story on air too. It's on one of the archives that we were talking about it. But it's I noticed the illustrators who, like yourself even, who are more, how can I say this without getting in trouble?
That's a good setup.
Well, because most illustrators are very inverted, but the ones who have been around for a while, or the ones that have had decent success, tend to be a little bit more extroverted. Like, so if you talk to the authors who have had success, they're more introverted than they are extroverted. But it's opposite for the winners. But it's the same way with the illustrators. The winners are very, very introverted, whereas as the judges and the teachers aren't. Why is that? See, like Echo and Tom are way more outgoing than most of the author judges there. It's a strange phenomenon. To be honest with you, it's just because I've done so many of them now. Just for them, I think I'm over 100 on each, and then throughout the career, probably well over 1,000, and probably well over 2,000. So it's a very strange thing to see. So I guess authors start out extroverted and end up introverted, and artists start out introverted and end up extroverted. What the hell's going on in this place, man? There's something not right going on around here.
Hey, Bob's pretty extroverted.
Yes, I see. Let's just drag Bob up in here with us.
Yes, I am very extroverted.
See, there you go, right off the bat.
Kind of scary extroverted. I scare people. I really do. Yeah.
Well, you couldn't. You're with the people that love you too much to have either way go very far, because we know who you really are.
That's right. Yeah.
Well, we'll scare everybody, Bob.
Yeah.
That sounded a bit
scary.
We'll
tag team.
We will, absolutely.
Yeah.
She's
tag, you're it. Tag.
That's the camera
there. Tag, you're it.
No, we were talking about, your career, because we've known each other. Man, it's been
years,
30 years. It's been a long time. Because you were still in Australia. I remember you calling me, talking about this girl you met named Marianne.
That's right.
And you thought like you were pretty like over the moon for her.
Well, we just had our 27th anniversary yesterday, so there we go,
That's great. So well done.
Yeah, it's and I don't know where the hell the whole years have gone. It's just I don't know where they've gone. I really don't. I'm 65 now, and it's. I started this. I was in this contest since 27. I was.
Yeah, so that's
wow.
Upwards of almost 40. Yeah, 40 years. I mean, you were one of the founding judges of the contest. So, but it was amazing just tracking your career. And I remember seeing you a couple times at Dragon Con when you were doing paintings during the convention. come up and we chat a bit, but then you have to get back to your painting. And you came to, I think, Lost Con once.
Yeah.
And,
yeah, we did. I came to Lost Con. I've been to some of the World Cons, and then the World Cons got all kind of weird, and I just sort of went away from it.
Unfortunately, I had to bail on them too a while ago. Remember bringing Anne McCaffrey to them once, and we did a play there at no, that was at Dragon Con. We went to World Con. We did another play when it was in Los Angeles. She came up. That's when we had the awards event in San Diego. Then we came up to World Con in Los Angeles or Orange County, and we did a play there where she was she loved performing. She wanted to be an actor or a singer, opera, but she couldn't sing, but she had a burner voice, and so her coach said, well, try something else. I said, okay, I'll write. So it worked for her.
I didn't know that. That's wild. Huh.
But we were talking about it earlier, Bob, was just how, Larry Elmore, how he's just, when she was talking to him, they said, I'm just trying to paint, what was it, a good painting?
He said, I'm 80 years old and I'm still just trying to paint one good painting.
Yeah. Well, hey,
God bless him.
The best painting is the next one. That's my belief.
Yeah.
And, the funny part is, as I've gotten older, I'm liking a lot of what I'm doing more. And I'm not so hard on myself critically. I just do something, it gets done. Everybody, if people are happy with it, the client's happy with it, I'm happy with it, and I get paid, then you know what? That's it. It's over. You know what I mean? It's like moving on. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think that's important. That's really important for as writer or artist to be able to say, okay, I'm done. Next.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I just think you got to let it go and I run into a lot of artists who God love them, but their whole thing is they want to be they want to be what history is going to think of them and everything. And it's like, no, it'll be when you're dead. You know what I mean? It's like those got Turner and My Heroes, Turner, Constable, Becklin, Arnold Becklin, all these great fine artists. I mean, they never planned that. They never thought about that. They just sort of did their thing. And then when, here they are, they're still legends in museums now. And that's what's important. I just don't worry about those kind of things I just don't.
Yeah. I mean, like with Frazetta, because he did some paintings for us, and he just loved to paint. He's one of those guys that he could not paint, and he loved doing all different stuff, like yourself, like April, like any good artist, or writer. You can't not do your art.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Everybody thought of Frazetta as like a god and everything, and I said, no, he's just a guy.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And he came to one of the events, and this was in 1997. I have a very good memory. 1997, it was at Cape Canaveral, whatever. And it was pouring rain. We had a rainstorm like you had. I was filling the parking lot up like that. And I had a car, so I became everybody's friend. And Frazetta showed up to this because he was living in Florida at the time, and he had just been through getting over a stroke, and it was visible that he had. So his right hand was no good, so he was learning to work with his left hand, and we were just talking about stuff, and he was just like. He was just a person. He was just a person, and we're walking through this. So Ron Wolotsky, the late Ron Wolotsky, and myself had a picture with him, and Ron called it Frank Frazetta and Two Guys. I've got it somewhere around here, and he just was great. And I was talking to Ellie at the time because Ellie was staying in the same hotel, and they were staying in the same hotel. And they just we're talking about the weather. We're talking about he was so unceremonious about things.
Yeah.
A guy.
Yeah, it is. But it's like, with Larry Elmore, he's one of the most humble guys I know. Talking with you about your art, he's just kind of you're not into all the significance. I'm just painting my next painting here, but you take a look, you've got like what, 13 Hugos and 12 Chesleys or whatever. That's those types of numbers. So that's automatically, no matter what you say, it shows the league that you're in. And to be able to just be your friend and have other people to be able to come up and chat with you is so cool, which is one of the great things about science fiction and fantasy, about fandom, that you can do that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I just like try to be a person. I mean, I try to be just a normal human being. And
well, you're nothing but normal, Bob. But I get
I'm not nothing but normal. I'm pretty weird, actually. It's like April asked me a question. This was in 2022, I think, on the Zoom thing we did.
Mm-hmm.
And she asked me, and she was so earnest and so really determined. And I remembered her work, and I said, you know, this was the stuff that this, because I loved the way it looked. It was all traditionally painted, and I'm not got anything against digital, but I just really loved how it looked. And she got my vote for the top thing. So, but whatever. Then, you know, we're talking, and then we come to IllexCon that year, and we're in an elevator, and this like purple flash just comes diving out of the elevator. Bob, like, I was like I'm like, hi.
So the doors just opened up, and there was Bob standing in front of me. I'm like, Bob, like there you are, like, and I forgot that you only saw me on Zoom, so I was just like so excited to finally meet you in person, and that was it.
And of course, you know, Marianne was going like, and Marianne's going, and who's this? But it was really great. We really hit it off really well, and
yeah.
She's an amazing artist. She's just an amazing artist. I've seen her grow from early work, and it's all there. The talent's all there, and I'm sure that something in the family is there that it goes through. I really believe that, and she is you April. You've evolved, and you've done this in just a few years, and it's like, you know, something, one of your dragon pieces and your motifs, and you put it out. I was like, wow, like that, you know, it just really is incredible. And seeing that kind of meteoric growth for me is very proud. I'm very proud of that. I'm very proud of that. Very happy to see that happen, because you've got the drive, you've got talent, and you know, the business end of it, you can be a very good business person. And a lot of artists are not. You know what it takes to sell your work. You know what it takes to present your work. You know what it takes to talk about your work. I've seen you do it. And you're not afraid to do a demo to show people what you're doing, especially on Fridays. I always tune in on Instagram.
I appreciate that.
To join you, and I'm look at that, look at her draw. Oh my God, like that. And I'm going like, you know, I gotta get my butt in gear and do, you know, I mean, just and it's just seeing it all come together is really seeing that happen, and seeing that, passing that on. I have no children, and so she's kind of adopted daughter in a sense,
which is totally cool.
My other dad,
and because like Kelly Frias adopted me as one of his sons back in the day, and I found that out from Laura, and you know, you remember Kelly's, he was like, you know, he was one of these great guys, you know, like that, you know? and so the nice hook around the nice circle. I did 20,000 words of essays and co-edited Kelly Frias's big art book, which is coming out maybe this year or maybe early next year. I don't know. It's taking 3 months to bind it. It's got 1,000 pages, and it's like this. And you need a forklift truck to handle it, and it's going to be at a $400 or $500 book. And they have stuff in there, like we hunted down stuff. Any collection, and the guy publishing it just wanted to just make it a beautiful item. So he's got the Queen album cover, and he's got like when they did the album cover and the whole story behind it. And I wrote 20,000 words of essays, and I learned so much about Kelly writing those essays, and how, you know, he was part of Mad Magazine for like 4 years when he disappeared from science fiction for 4 years. So he was part of Mad Magazine, and you know, and what he used his sense of humor and his humorous illustrations to counterpoint some of his more serious science fiction illustrations. And of course, he came back and he won a bunch of Hugos in the 50s. And then in the 1970s, he won more. He won 5 more. So he became a 10-time Hugo Award-winning artist. He was a guy that renaissanced into it. And through the 80s, he kept busy and he just really was able to kind of keep at it and keep going at it with a real great spirit. And
he was the first coordinating judge for the Illustrators of the Future.
Absolutely. And I was one of the first people he wanted on board. That was what I remember the call. I got it at night. Al just called me up and he's like, "Hey, Bob," Al just talked like that. And he goes, "Hey, Bob," like that. He goes, "We're doing this contest." And I couldn't say anything about it. He said, "Don't say anything about it," because the legal work had to be done and all that stuff. So he says, "It's going to be co-running with the Writers of the Future." And he says, "Kelly wants you to be one of the first people that he wants to bring on board." And I said, "Yeah."
Absolutely.
and
what an honor.
Wow, because we did it all. It was all old school then, man. It was all like stuff they sent in like black and white line work that had to come in like an envelope or something, and we had to do points on it and send the whole thing back. It was not digital. We didn't do anything digital. We didn't do anything on the internet, and it was all done in this real. We were kind of feeling our way along as it was going along, and there was some truly fun times we had. I mean, it was like, and now you have the event specifically in Hollywood, whereas it kind of moved all over a little bit.
Yeah.
We were in Washington one time, then we were down in I think Houston, Texas.
Yeah, we were in Houston a couple times. We went to Florida, like you mentioned. We've been to New York. We've been to DC, San Diego. We were there for an event once.
Yeah.
It's been all over, and we tend to like it. It's easier to keep it organized because we're able to, when we're here in Hollywood, I'm always able to get at least 20 media to come and interview the winners and judges, and that helps a lot because it's all about launching careers too.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. I agree, and it really works because you got everything there, and if somebody needs to get something to eat, it's there. If you need to take, if you need to go to your room for something, it's there, and everything takes place there. And there's something about it. And and just frankly putting it, the hotel's not too shabby either.
Yeah. So
everything's there. So that's what's kind of fun to like to have about it. And I think you really keep that going. I mean, that's just my feeling on it. And I'll begin.
Yeah, we were talking about Dragon Con. We have, I think, probably 10 winners there with their own booths at Dragon Con and the art show. And then we had another 5 or so in the main show floor. So we had like 15 illustrator winners at Dragon Con, and we had half a dozen at Fanex Salt Lake just this last week. And
our present winner here won Best of Show in Dragon Con.
I know.
Yeah, and a couple of other awards, and impressed everybody. And I
know, she rocked it. Plus we had another winner a couple of years ago, Nick Gisba, who won Best Science Fiction Artist. So it was
cool.
So Illustrators of the Future is definitely well presented, and I mean Echo is doing great. She's there, and she's always willing to lend a helping hand. That's one of the qualifications of our judges, is that you've got to be willing to like help, the next generation. You've always been just amazing with that, and you got witness people like April, who's
I just like to pass it forward. It's like you let. It's called standing on the shoulders of giants, and you move forward because I'm not going to be here forever, and it really hits you at 65, and then it really did, and then I've got things I'm doing and things I want to do, and it's so nice to see artists and illustrators move into their own style, their own appreciation. And we live in such different times now. When the stories that back in the day when there were like, I mean, you should know this too, John. There were 9 or 10 different publishers in New York City. Now they're like 3, if that. Yeah. And they've all been conglomerate eaten up. And what happens is you could call somebody. I'd go to New York City, April. I'd go down there, and I'd call up, and it'd be like, a phone booth, you know.
Yeah.
And I'd have a list of numbers, and I'd get
Isn't that just Doctor Who?
I'd be like this. I'm talking like this. I'm going, hi. Yeah, hi. Is Diane Luger there? Yeah. Okay, sure. Oh, hey,
Yellow
Bob,
pages.
where are you, Bob? Like I said, downstairs. I'm down like on Madison Avenue, like that. She goes, yeah, why don't you come on up? She goes, come on up, and we'll see what's going on, and we'll have a talk, and then of course she'll say like, and this is how it would work. You go up there, you go to an art director's office, which was filled with artwork. It looked like April's studio or mine. It was just filled with paintings. And then she'd pull them out and say, look at this one. I just came in, and you're holding like a Boris in your hands, or you're holding a Michael, you know, and you're just looking at it, and she lets you go, and then she goes, you know, we've got a book, and I don't know what to do with it. Could you do something with this? Yeah, like that. And then she goes, you had lunch? And I said, no. And she said, you like sushi? I said, never tried it. She goes, you're going for sushi. So we go to sushi. And and that's exactly how things ran. And then in the afternoon, I might call up Irene Gallo at Tor Books. I went in to see her, or I'd go in to see Don Wilhelm, or I'd go in to see someone else at these various different places. And it was easy because you went in there and you just walk right in, and then, oh yeah, she's expecting, you know, Don Puck, he's down the hall there, like that, you know, and then, you know, being there and visiting people and making that contact with people and dropping something off, saying, hey, this is something new I did, you know, like that, and dropping something off that would spur them to think, hey, let's give you something, and things just snowballed for me from there. And and I remember one time I was in Berkeley Books, is a good example. And Ginger Buchanan, who was a wonderful editor, still a friend of mine, and she happened to be in Diane Luger's office at the art director at Berkeley Books. And she had to be there, and I happened to be there. And then she says, oh, hi, Bob. Yeah. And then they saw some robot painting I was delivering to Diane. I did this series of, it's a long triptych thing of robots. And it's for an Isaac Asimov book. And what happened was, in it was the Ginger goes and says, oh my God, you know, there's a guy, and he's, you know, she named it his name. He's with an imprint press of ours. He's one floor below, and he's putting out a book on AI and, like, you know, God and man, and you know, and who's the, you know, the Sistine Chapel thing with the, you know, one has to be a robot. He had this idea of having a robot hand, and we get talking, and I just walk out of there with another job. It was like
nice.
And that's what is very, very, very interesting and hard to explain to some of the newer people, because everything's so virtual and digital, and the barriers and the boundaries and the, you know, you know, things that just, you know, that they, you know, it's don't call us, we'll call you, all that kind of stuff like that. And and that's what's been very different for me as I've grown up. I had a tremendous success from the late 80s through the 90s. And one thing just led to another. Somebody would see something and they'd call me or something like that. So that's something that, you know, I try to impart on a lot of the younger artists when they say to me, how did you start? Like that, you know? And I started in 1983, and some people weren't even born. and
that was my year.
you were a little swaddling baby. And when I was out in April 1983, when I was out pushing my stuff with people, and I first did textbook artwork, things of this nature. I did anything I could, and that really is where it goes. And what I love is when I see younger people, younger artists, and they're doing different things now, and they're doing, you know, we have all kinds of different things to concern us with. AI is a big one, because it is essentially it's kind of art theft, and it's also this lazy way of creativity, as April would agree, it is work, and you got to work at it. And April, you were working on a painting. You were talking about you were really, wondering if something's going to work.
Yeah. It's behind me.
Oh, good, excellent.
It's right back there. But yeah, like, I mean, working through those accidents, I think is also part of that curve of getting better, because with, I mean, there's no human struggle with AI. It's not even art. Like, it's not even artificial intelligence. It's just a rando Frankenstein monster box it's just all these pieces, and you just type in a prompt and it poops out a thing, and then, I mean, I know that some people use it depending on what industry, like some entertainment designers will use AI for coming up with concept designs, and then they'll use that as like an idea, and then they'll go draw like their own idea based off another idea. I mean, like, you do you, like, I'm not going to condone anyone who, like, unless you're selling it, then yeah, you are the Antichrist now. But like artists who use it as a platform to get ideas, and like, okay, like, you do you. For me, that will never work, because I want to learn that struggle. I want to learn how to come up with my own thumbnails and my own ideas about composition, and I don't want a magic box to produce it for me. I want to go through that by myself and learn as I go through, great artists that have come before me. And, Bob, obviously you, like, I've learned so much from you for so many years, and you never knew that I was,
I know you're a fan. You said you saw myself when you were 9 years old. I'm going.
Yeah, I know. Totally. I grew up with your work since the beginning, and with Larry. So, like, you see the work when you're a kid and you think, oh my gosh, someday I would love to be this good. And you just start learning, like, rendering, and then you'll learn about composition and color and values and, anatomy. And it's like it's a never ending pursuit of things to learn about.
And I learned from you, April, when you do your little your little Instagram hour and whenever they throw you off, as you put it.
Yeah, they just kick me off after an hour, and I warn people.
and she does these incredible. If anybody watching this, she is on Instagram on Fridays, 12 noon usually, about
is that 3 o'clock in your time?
Yeah. And she'll go on live, and she'll be either doing something like a plein air painting, or she'll be doing a drawing, or she'll be doing a watercolor piece, or she'll be doing something. And I am learning stuff watching you. I'm going like, I'm watching like, there you go, you're drawing in stuff, and I'm going like, you did that werewolf yesterday. I'm like, yeah, and it was just like, what was it? It was a little, and you talk about the watercolor brushes, and invest in good brushes, and invest in good paints, and invest in good
paper. Good
stuff
paper,
like
so
that.
important.
Yeah, paper and things
for
of
watercolors.
Nature, and I have an actor friend who's just started painting. His wife paid for him to take painting lessons.
Oh, nice.
And the actor April, and and he did, and he's a great artist. He's a terrific artist, and this is a big in joke. He's a terrific artist, and he's been in Todd Stashwick, and he's been in Star Trek Picard. He's been in 12 Monkeys. He's in the new Marvel Wandaverse coming up. But he does drawings and he does art. And I'm working with him on this thing called Progcore, and I've designed a dragon for him, and I've designed some environments for him, and done some other things. So he decided that he wanted to get painting, and so his wife gave him this present of individual tutoring, and his stuff, he's showing it off, and I'm going like, this is like your first efforts? Oh my God, like that, and
that's cool.
And he had no idea about certain mediums and no idea about certain things. And I said, get good brushes. And I said, if you have any questions on medium that you use, message me, call me, whatever. I will walk you through it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Julia, the same Julia, and another artist you need to meet, Jenny Johnson. She's wonderful. And it's great to see people explore this creativity at any age,
Yeah.
however they,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's younger than me, but it's like, it's great to see people explore this kind of stuff. And we're all learning. We're always learning. And
Yeah.
One thing that I was really impressed with you, Bob, earlier when I met you was same thing with Kevin Anderson. You guys were able to paint to deadlines, and you told me about sometimes you got jobs because whatever artist was assigned to do a cover, so I can't do it, but they needed it by Monday, so you get a phone call, can you? Said, yeah, I can do it, and you would do it, so that was also a major thing for me, that someone who has that kind of integrity, that
and it's
count on you.
Because now what's happening is you have certain places that are saying, we need ASAP. Well, that's not a deadline. When do you need it? You know what I mean?
Right.
Tell me ASAP. Back in the day, I did these things called, and you've all heard about them, called magic cards. And they look like this. And I did about 22 of them back from 96 through 98. And I worked with an art director who's wonderful, Maria Cabardo, and she would call me up on a Tuesday and she would say, hey, Bob, I've got this thing. Can you do a tornado hitting a mountain? It would be really... So I would sketching on the phone. I'm on the phone like this, sketching. Okay, yeah, sure. Fax. Yes, fax machine. Right through. And then I get a call and she'd be waving it around above her cubicle and there'd be an applause. And she said, that's the approval. Go ahead and do it. Now it's an entirely different process. And I would do the painting this, and she goes, oh, Bob, I know this might be asking a lot. Could I get that for Friday morning? And I was going like, okay, so I'll paint it about this big. And I did. And that's how most of mine were. They were 6 by 7 inches. And now you get guys that are doing like these 20 by 30 by 40, huge paintings, because the value of some of this art has really gone up, and that's what they're able to sell. But with me, I found myself, I didn't think anything of it. I just got the job done. I got it to Maria. They paid me, and so on and so on. And that's how things, generally speaking, that's how things worked. And I mean, these were back in the days when you didn't have the resolution scanners or the to send something, let's get a JPEG, like what do you call it, a file or a Dropbox. You didn't have any of that stuff.
Yeah. Floppy disks.
Yeah, exactly. And you just sort of got what I would do is I'd do a painting. I'd run it to my local photo place. They make a transparency out of it. 4 by 5, and if it was a big painting, and then I'd put it in a little FedEx envelope with an invoice, and I'd FedEx it down to Tor Books or FedEx it down to Ace Books or whoever, and they would, they would say, "Oh, great, you've already, you've saved us a step and stuff like that," and it saved me the shipping, because the shipping back then was like a whole $100 to send a 20, 30 by 40 painting down there. Not now, And it also kept the work safe. Kept the work safe,
which is good. And that's how, that's what we did when we dealt with Frazetta on getting the covers for that, because he did several covers for the earlier Rise of Future volumes. But it's just, I think it's just amazing with this transition that's happening right now. We put the rules saying no AI art. And of course, you're going to have people trying to game it now. They're going to try to show that we can do it. And so we've got Echo now uses, and Joni use these various apps to be able to detect AI art, so we can reject it, because we really want just old school art. We want artists that can create on their own. And that's what the contest is about, and that's what was originally intended when Ron Hubbard created it. You had that one article I put in, like, the quality is, you have to put the work in. If you need more effort to do it, then put in the effort to do it. Don't skimp on the shrimp. You got whatever it takes to get the product you need to do. You gotta be
right, exactly. That's the whole thing. I mean, even they're getting, a lot of people are trying writing like that. And they're finding, there's a survey that's just out that shows that a lot of companies are really disappointed with what they're seeing with this AI kind of stuff in various other things like writing or copywriting or whatever. They're just disappointed with it. There's something unhuman about it, and they can't put their finger on it, but there's something that just doesn't jive really well. And
it's not the raw creativity. And you get the proponents of AI saying, no, it is. No, it isn't. It's copying. It's taking stuff and it's jibbling stuff around. But the main thing that AI, at least words on stories and essays and articles, is seeing your datum is to be to come across as being authoritative. Doesn't mean it's true. It's just it sounds true.
Right, you know? Exactly. The thing is too is that I've found that somebody had, because my style has changed over the years. That's the nice part about it. I've gone from a very slick airbrushy style to much more fine art painterly style, and I do drawing and everything. Somebody put a bunch of prompts in of Bob Eggleton. They wanted to make a Bob Eggleton just to show me. They weren't being mean. They just said, I want to have some fun and just show you something. And what we got looked like Salvador Dali on acid or something. I mean, it was, oh my goodness gracious. It was awful. It was like, it's got this, and then there's a dinosaur head, and then there's like a thing, and then there's some pencil lines, and I'm going, and he goes, we tried it 6 times, and this is what we got, because it's scraping off your various styles that it has, and the result is it looked terrible, and I'm going like, that is fine by me.
Yeah.
And I've seen it, and the problem is too is like, for example, here's a good example is like when you guys put together your volumes, okay, like the last one that had that beautiful cover art piece on it. I know I took to Meliva and people, there's a lot of work put into all of that, the type and the balance and what you wanted to say and how will it, there's a lot of thought put into this, and I know that I've witnessed it. We have reached a society where there's so many people that go, it'll do. You know what I mean? It's April. April is like the ultimate. She does framing her work for actual art, and it never fails to be beautiful because the frame is part of the art. And I'm trying to make you blush, April.
My freckles have blushed long before.
and what happened was people they go out and they get this cheap looking stuff, and it looks cheap, and I'm going like, and I go out and I will break my butt getting several $100s worth of frames done.
Yeah.
And people will say to me when they collect the work, you're the only artist, you're one of the few artists I get that I don't have to change the frame.
That's a compliment.
Yeah.
My teacher.
That's just caring about the quality of presentation. It's
presentation. That's a Japanese thing. I learned that from the Japanese, is that presentation is everything. When they present you sushi, or they present you a meal, or they present you anything, everything is presentation. And even a business card.
They present
you do
both
this.
hands like that.
And then you go like this. Like that. And do the same. It's not like shove it in your pocket. It's a business card. And all of that, it's little stuff, but boy, it goes a long way with people. It really does. Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. Just to piggyback off what you're saying, my teacher, Michael Savas at the Laguna College of Art and Design, in his classes, he was very, very regimented about presentation. And he would have us cut mat board, and we would, and it'd have to be a nice, like, perfect cut, no tape, no smudges, and you'd make it look really nice. Like, it wasn't just the drawing that needed to be good, but that presentation that you would, we'd all show up with the hand cut mats, and everything had to be taped, and you put that up right on the wall with everyone else's piece, and just that alone, like, would make yours stand out or not. And he talked about getting jobs where he was competing with guys who were way better than him, but he would show up he would do his work on time, and his presentations were always immaculate. And that's how he got more work than someone else who was better than him. But his presentation would
totally make sense.
Make all the difference.
Right.
Totally makes
Yeah.
sense.
Right. Exactly. The presentation's everything. Same way with the conventions. It's the same way. It's the presentation. You show the work, and it, you know, it's. I mean, we're always running around like chickens with our heads cut off, just getting ready for these things. But you know, ultimately, it's the presentation. And yeah, I know. Believe me, I know. Yeah, I'm one of these people that likes to, you know, I've been with this contest so long and seen so many winners and so many people that have gone on to great things. Sean Tan.
Yeah.
God. Wow. I gave him the award. You know, there's a photo of me. You'll love this, April. I got to show it to you. You were probably about 6. when this photo was taken, and I'm giving an award to Sean Tan, and it may have been the grand prize, and it was just when he was getting going, and you know, and he's gone on to become kind of a legend in Australia, and I mean wins the Astrid Lindgren Award, and it's from Sweden. And you know, he wins this award, and it's very public, $750,000.
Wow.
Yeah, and it's just a grant. It's a grant to be able to do what. And he's got a section in Australian bookstores. You know, he's got a section, and
that's amazing.
It is. It's a place called Dimmock's.
He won an Oscar.
Yeah, and he won an Oscar. He won an Oscar, and I knew he was going to win the damn thing because, like, you know, he did this animation and he won this Oscar, and I mean, my mouth fell open when I was like, oh my God, Sean Tan won like that, and and then he won a Hugo the same year. He's won 2 Hugos, and you know, it's so funny with the Hugos because in 2010 it was in Australia and he was nominated, of course, and you know, people are going to, oh, you know, Bob, I was nominated too, and I said, they go, I'm afraid you know, it's probably going to go to. I said, I wanted to go to him. I voted for him. How do you like that? Like that?
Yeah.
And I got enough of these things, you know. And I said, that's the last thing I want to do is get on board a plane carrying a rocket-shaped object. Yeah. and yeah. So it's just he's been like a rocket. He's been an absolute rocket. What he's done with it.
Yeah, he's been great as a judge. Cool. So it's
modest,
really good.
Modest as all get out. I mean,
yeah.
Oh my God. I mean, he's like, just, you know, he talked to him. He's like, you know, he's like this. Do you think so? Like, you know, like that. And he just,
I love it.
Oh God.
What a sweetheart.
If you met him, April, you would love him because he's just he's modest about a lot of the stuff, very modest. And he puts out books that get like published in Australia, and then they get picked. Sometimes they get picked up over here. But there's also he's got an art book out that came out, and it's really quite lovely. And he's been so experimental in his early work with the Writers of the Future or Illustrated Future. His early work was a little more representational, more construct. It was much more in keeping with what I see a lot of people beginning as they're getting, and then like yourself, April, he loosens up and just goes in this direction with design and motifs and all kinds of, you know, there's a great evolution going on. And I see you doing that. I see you doing that right now. I mean, it's just, I mean, I can look at something and I can say, well, that's probably early April. And that's like now April. That's like 5 years later April, you know, like that, you know, and to see that kind of thing, because you don't stay in one place at one time. And art is evolution. Art is all about evolving. It's evolving. It's growing. You know, it's when a painting is being painted, you know, you try the next most interesting thing. Where just you know, just experiment and see what's going to happen. And This is a good one, April. You like this? I got to tell you, Todd is getting oil painting lessons, and he said, "Thank you, April." He goes, "I had no idea that you could just take a turpentine rag and wipe oil paint off the canvas."
Huh. I understand from a newbie. I mean, there's so many tips and tricks that's taken me years to understand that.
Yeah.
I'm like when I look at Brahms' work,
Yeah.
you know, Gerald Brahm, I'd look at his work and be like, how does he do all the spot and the textury bits? And now I know, oh, it's just Gamsol. Just,
yeah.
You know, or some kind of rocks that he uses to create a texture. But yeah, like there's so many things that seem like, oh, well, yeah, of course. Yeah, no, that makes so much sense today. But back when, it's like, really? You mean you can just scrape it off? Like, you can just scrape off the paint if you don't like it? What? That's so funny.
Yeah, it's
one thing too. We just finished September 31st. We just finished September 30th. We just finished the fourth quarter of year 42, and we're now starting the first quarter of year 43 of the contest. But one thing that's special about year 42 is we now, with the contest, will have reached the 1,000 writers and artists published in Writers of the Future volumes now. So we've broken 1,000.
Wow, that's
when
great.
we published this volume.
Awesome! Oh my God!
So we're very excited about that, because that's just, I don't know if anybody else or any other contest or any other opportunity for artists that they've had that's guaranteed, you know, it levels the playing field, because all you see is the art in a number. You have no idea if they're male, female, nationality, ethnic, sex, anything. It's just straight their art. And so we've had winners from 52 countries now. And it's so exciting just seeing how it's growing in an environment where validation of real art is getting harder and harder.
Right.
We've got something that's not changing, you know?
Right, exactly. And it's sort of it's not changing yet, it's evolving at the same time, in the sense that it's evolving into something that is, you know, it's again, having been with this since 1987, I have seen absolute variety of changes and things go on, and the way it works. And now, of course, we have this digital, we have the medium of what we're using right now, which is computers, and that we didn't have back then.
Right.
We had like phone calls and we had things like that, you know, and it was just kind of you know, but just seeing that, and then you get the faces out there, and you get the social media aspect of it. You get other people, you know, really getting into it, and they just grok it, and you look at it and you say, hey, look, you know, if you know, and I'm one of your, you know, I'll extol anything like that, you know, I'll say it anytime.
Yeah, and what's great for everybody that's watching this or listening to this, the contest is free to enter. It's open only to amateur, and to find out if you qualify, it's in the writersofthefuture.com. You go there to look at Enter Illustrator Contest, and it'll see the rules there, or just get a copy of the book and just see the quality of art that you're going to be competing against in order to win the contest. But the worst that's going to happen is you're going to get an email from Joni, the contest director, saying, thank you very much, please enter again. You're not going to get anybody judging you, saying like,
right,
you know, forget it, just nothing but encouragement. And it's unfortunate that we have some people that then try to game it and submit computer art. So we have another level of judging now, where it goes through a filter to make sure that it is actual art created by a person. But otherwise, you know, we have some amazing artists that are making it. I'm so excited that, obviously, when I first met you, to have you on board, but then getting people like April, you know, it's just like, she's a sweetheart of a person, plus she's just an amazing artist. And so I'm looking at the future of the contest, like I mentioned before you came on. You know, I see her very much like I did with Nettie Okorafor, who you were talking about, Sean Tan, who became a judge. Nettie is the one who Sean illustrated.
April, you will become a judge. I have a feeling you will.
It would be an honor to be a judge.
Yeah. So just, you know, the fact that you won all these awards and continuing to do well, is what we're looking for, because it's, you know, the contest carries a lot of cachet because of the founding judges and who we've got going on. You know, like you experienced, April, when you were able to meet Larry. Same thing people had when they could meet Bob, or are able to meet Frank Frazetta or Kelly Freeze, or those people. It's like, these are the ones, you know, there's a major award that's given every year at Comic-Con, the Eisner Award. Will Eisner was one of our judges, you know, so that's the caliber we have with contests. So once you're able to bring something to, you know, stably bring something to the contest, not the contest bring something to you, that's when, that's like what I look at as the defining point. You know, we will be forever friends, but at some point you're going to go, the scale will tip, and now you'll be able to really bring stuff to the contest. We're like, wow, they got April Solomon. You know, they've got Bob Eggleton.
Years ago, we had Jack Kirby.
Yeah.
And he was sitting right next to me, and it didn't hit me who he was. I just sat down. I was like, it didn't hit me. And I'm like, you know, and then I look at his name thing. It's Jack Kirby. And I'm going like, Jack Kirby, like that. And then I think I had to introduce him, but I was so like, I went, this is Jack. Like that, you know.
Like the train was pulling into the station very slowly. Right?
Yeah, exactly. The same thing happened to me years ago. I had to introduce Ray Harryhausen at a breakfast, and of course Ray Harryhausen created all these stop motion monsters, and he worked on Mighty Joe Young. He knew Willis O'Brien, and he did he did the Sinbad movies and all that stuff like that. And he come in with this voice and talks like this, and he goes, you know, you do pretty damn good dinosaurs. I like your dinosaurs. I like dinosaurs with tails on the ground, you know. So we got into this whole conversation about that. So I had to go to this breakfast thing where I had to introduce him, and I just blanked. It was like, because I was so starstruck, I went, and now his habit, and the person with me is going, I went, Ray Harryhausen, thank you very much, like that, you know. And then he gets up and says, I was with these gentlemen at breakfast, and we're all talking about how King Kong affected our life. I'm going, God, he mentioned me in one sentence with him, like that, you know. It's, you know, yeah. I mean, it's pretty amazing. And so yeah, with Jack Kirby, he was there, and he was just talking about art and the impressive stuff that he'd seen. He was judging, and I'm going like, you know, I'm just back and forth with Jack Kirby.
Yeah,
it happens. You know, you get so many names in your head, and I'm not good with names at all, you guys. But when it comes to artists,
my name is John Goodwin.
Yes.
Yeah.
And John. Yeah.
We know that.
We know who you are.
just remembering you.
Yeah, names. I've got so many names in my brain. Sometimes it becomes an AI generator. Like I'll start taking this first name and that last name, and I'll make up a new artist and just like, no, that's not it. Try again, brain. Like, let's get the right name.
I'm good at some things. I'm really good at some things, and Emily, my wife, is great with other things. So I like to do things with her, because names is not one of my good things. She can see a billboard 20 years ago and remember that was the actor that was in that movie that she never saw. And these are the people that were in that movie with that actor. And I was like, okay, you know, I'm just
like that way with faces. I can recognize a face, and know exactly who it is on the tip of my tongue. And then I go, you know, you know, and it was like, I've done that a few times. I was in a store in Hollywood one time, and somebody came in, and he was a comedian, and I'm going like, who the, you know, God damn, and I'm going, it's Richard Mulligan. Oh my God. Yeah. Like that, you know, and it was like, you know, and just, you just do that. And it's pretty funny. My brain will recognize a face, and because it's visual, you know what I mean? It's a visual thing.
Yeah.
And the name is the thing that, you know, it becomes that guy you mentioned, or, you know, that, what did you say his name was?
Yeah. No, I get that because on the podcast I've just uploaded, I think episode 245 or something like that. So that's almost that many different people I've interviewed, books that I've read, or artists, or editors, or publishers, and I remember the faces, but then I'm like, what's the name? What's the name? What's the name? You know, just trying to before I get up to see them, and then sometimes they'll say, I'm sorry, I don't remember your name. Or I'll go up and say, hi, John Goodwin. And they'll say, yeah, I remember you. I said, well, go ahead and tell me your name, please. And then I get back, because I remember what the interview was. I just don't remember the name because I'm not good at that. But I'll remember the story and I'll remember the book and that type of stuff. But like right now, I'm in the middle of reading 5 different books for I've got 5 interviews coming in the next month. So, and I got to pace myself because I'm leaving in 10 days for Frankfurt for the Frankfurt Book Fair. Well, cool. 2 or 3 interviews there.
Yeah, that's fun.
But it's great because the podcast, like this show here that we're on right now, this will hit about 4 million viewers, listeners, and the podcast is about 3 million. And so it's been very, very successful as it grows and gets the following of people like really want to know. And so as long as you can have, class act like Bob and April, then it helps to continue to grow up because they get stuff that like they won't get elsewhere. It's
it's the Bob and April show.
Exactly.
With special guest John Goodwin.
Exactly. And then hopefully our monster Joe Montaldo surfaces again pretty soon. So he can.
I never left. I've been here listening to y'all.
Okay, so
it's keeping the mics locked because it's cruising the coast down here. So we have cruising the coast for 2 weeks and about 10 days in October. So every old person I know, including myself,
old person
with their really nice cars from God knows when, completely fixed, completely maxed out, and are just screaming up and down the highways, music blasting, engines blasting. It's insanity for 2 weeks is what it is. And the sad part is I doubt anyone here is under the age of 50. I'm just telling you. It's more
April's only 19, but otherwise Bob
she's like 19, so she's so much like
yep.
She's a baby.
Sure.
It's
sure.
Take the baby while you can, because one day you won't be a baby. So enjoy it while you can.
Be young at heart. Just be young at heart, and that will transcend everything.
We'll take the show on the road, April. You know what we'll call it?
Sure, yeah.
April and Bob, a pair of draws.
Man. One good podcast can make more money than just about anything on the planet. So when somebody that's 400 pounds can get paid $108,000 a month to eat Burger King, the world has definitely changed. Is all I can tell you. It's definitely a different place. It amazes me how much money you can make for just doing absolutely and completely stupid things. Just selling stuff. That's amazing.
You're not wrong.
Don't get me
started. When I was young.
Don't get me started.
Just
But then the fact that we can do this show here, it's been now for about 2 years. It's almost 2 years old. This December will be 2 years old. And that we have 4 million people interested in listening and watching this there's also interest in quality stuff, that are really, at least from our perspective, is quality. It's something that you can learn and inspire. If you got you yourself, if you're an artist or somebody else is an artist, it's like beginnings can be very, very humble. You don't have to be a, super rich person. You don't have to have, anything particular. I mean, Larry Elmore started, he had a pencil that he used a knife to sharpen, and he used the box that his mom bought the groceries in every week. That was his initial, what he used to draw on, because he was so poor out there in Kentucky.
Hey, Joe, be careful with that lightsaber. I don't want you to lose your nose or something like that.
I know.
But everybody did see you'd make $1 million doing that. Oh my God, he lost his nose. The thing is, I know the business from a long time ago, which is helpful to a lot of younger people. April really knows the business right now. She's really switched on about that stuff, about how to. You were just telling me, April, you took a thing on how to use social media a little better. You take, things like this. That's just drive. That's what all the artists, all the new artists, all the young artists, and you have drive in spades. I mean, it's just amazing, and it's not just
thank you.
You have to have the drive, and the drive is there, and the passion for it is there. You have to really be passionate about what you do, and some people, they run out of the passion, they run out of the drive. They tell people, oh, you don't want to do art,
that's so heartbreaking to me, and I really appreciate that, because I feel like, I'm just figuring out as I go, and I have so many people in my circle that I reach out to, or they know that I'm willing to hear any advice that they can give me about how to grow as a business person / artist.
Sure, exactly.
I know how to draw and paint. Well, I mean, more to learn there. But, the business side, that's, that has been something that I think it should be taught in art schools with learning how to paint and draw. I think that's also really important.
Which is why the workshop is so valuable too, because that's part of what you get is the business side,
That's right.
Because some artists are so willing. I sold something. I got paid for this. I got paid $100 for this thing they spent 50 hours creating.
Right.
It's just like,
right.
It's wrong. It's wrong.
Yeah.
But they don't know better. But then being on the show too, you're going to have people discovering you. Well, both of you right now, maybe for the first time, like, that's really cool. So I like her work, because we went through your website, that Joe did, and it makes a big difference. That's how people can discover you too.
Yeah.
You do the conventions and have that drilled down pretty good, but then also doing this show here. How many people, Joe, watched it on the various TV channels? Joe? I lost Joe. But anyway, there's we have
it's that lightsaber. That lightsaber took everything.
Yeah.
Oh, my damn earbuds. I think I messed up the plug going into my earbud or something.
Oh.
Can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Yeah.
Okay, good. So how many people are actually watching this right now on your various TV channels?
I don't know, like 5 or 6. How am I supposed to know? No.
From weeks past.
It's on average this show. So right now in Roku, probably somewhere between 20 to 40,000 people are watching us right now.
That's so cool.
Then I don't know if I put us. Yeah, I did. So today we're actually on Fire Stick as well. We'll probably pick up about 10,000 over there. And then globally, I mean, the radio side of the audience is where everybody's at. I would venture to say we'll finish somewhere between 3.7 and 4.3, 4.4 million. It's but people are so many people. No, it's not. I mean, probably 800,000 in the U.S. We'll even say 900,000, and then this show's broadcasting to right at 160 countries. So do the math. It sounds like a lot, but when you start breaking up between, countries and cities.
I don't math, so.
Well,
North Korea is checking you guys out right now. You got 20 people in North Korea? It's growing.
Yeah, we're up to 21 in North Korea. I remember when we got our first. This was so weird. We got this one. We have one person from North Korea. I'm thinking this must be Kim Jong-un watching this. I mean, who else can be listening to us assholes? And this was a whole different show than this one. And I was like, and then all of a sudden I know it was 3, then it was 5. Now it's about 21. And right now, currently, I can even look and see. There's probably about 11 people in North Korea listening to us. Probably have no clue what we're talking about, but hey, they're listening. I mean, we got people in Venezuela listening. As far as I know, there's 3 shows on the network that go out to every country on the planet. Wow. And then it's strange. And then, like in the U.S., we go out to about 400 cities, but it's kind of cheating when you say that, because some of the cities might have 3 listeners or 5 listeners or 10 listeners. They're still listening, but it's just a handful of listeners. But it's a difference with podcasting, because you go everywhere. And then we have 2 FM branches. We have 107.7 in New Orleans and 105.3 in Mississippi, so on the Gulf Coast. So we cover that territory as well. And then the TV, and then all the video feeds, because we're on Rumble and X and YouTube and Facebook. I think the station owns 44 social media feeds, give or take, probably totaling across all of them about 700,000 followers across all of them. It's Just something to do. Something for the youngins to do, though. Like, look, man, I started all this. Y'all some bitches that can go work on these pages now. Because sometimes you see a lot of interaction, sometimes you don't see any, but people don't realize how easy it is to make money, because if you've got just 6,000 listeners and you're charging them just $6.99 a month, you're making $41,000 a month. And 6,000 listeners on the internet today is not a big deal. That's why you see so many people doing this influencer stuff now, because it doesn't take that many followers to get a good 5-digit income. And people with real talent can easily get a 6-digit, 7-digit income. I watch them do it all the time. And don't get me wrong, I mean, it's a good business to be into, but you got to be patient. I'm not actually in it for the money. I'm into it to cause trouble and chaos, but that's what I'm in it for.
We're all in it
Heck
for
yeah.
cause trouble and chaos.
It's
Love
just
it.
But just because we're getting close to the end of the show, but for anybody that loves dragons, and if you're Japanese, Gojira, but otherwise called Godzilla.
Gojira.
Yeah, there we go. Then that's Mr. Eggleton is the king of those critters. And then April is, you can see there, her moniker says April Solomon Dragon Lady. She's amazing with her dragons. There we go. Yes. Don't let that pretty countenance fool you, though.
No, don't.
No.
She can become a werewolf. I've actually seen her do this. It's a party. It's a party trick. You'll actually become a werewolf.
It's called Mondays.
It's called Mondays. Yeah, you do that thing, and like you do this, and I've seen you become a werewolf, and it's like, and then the moon comes out, and it's like, oh my god, like what? But she's a nice werewolf. She's a good werewolf.
And sometimes my boyfriend hates it because I take forever to change.
Poor baby.
That was a bad punny joke.
Poor baby.
It's
well, you can't be a werewolf coming to New Orleans because the vampires will eat you. So, just a piece of advice there. Stay out. Don't go. The vampires are very strange about what they like in New Orleans. They like to come out on the weekends when everybody's good and high and loaded. They can nibble their way through the French Quarter and catch a buzz while they're doing it.
No, I've always liked science fiction and fantasy all my life. I can't remember when I didn't like it. It was getting into Star Trek was a big thing with me, along with Godzilla and the movie 2001: A Space Odyssey, and all these great things that were very mind expanding.
We'll have to bring you on one night when we're doing we do every now and then we do older sci-fi movies and television.
I'd love it. It'd be great.
And what you get out of it, what we got out of it, I guess I should say. So
it's right up your alley, Bob.
It's a lot of fun, and
I like old horror movies. That's my genre of love. American Werewolf in London, and I finally got to meet Mr. Rick Baker himself, and that was such an amazing day. Oh my god.
The thing with me with old movies is I can tell you like how they started, how they started with good intentions, and then they ran out of money, and or somebody else took over and directed it took it in another direction.
And we get into that kind of stuff too, because by accident we started out doing old movies, and we started out with what's the one with Leslie Nielsen in it when he was a lead man, The Forbidden Planet. That's it. We started out talking. And then before we realized it, we're an hour and 15 minutes into the show, and we're still not off of this one movie yet. I'm like, okay, we're putting time limits on these from now on. We're gonna have a little bell.
And now it's difficult to watch that movie without just looking at him and going like, it's a hospital. What is it? It's a big building with patients, but that's not important right now.
It's a strange. Anyway. Well, I had never seen Leslie Nielsen play in a leading role before. I'd always seen him in stupid shit like Airplane and stuff like that.
Huh.
But he used to be the bad guy in a lot of movies. He used to be like,
really?
Yeah, he was a corrupt, he was a bad guy in Creepshow. He was a bad guy in
that's funny.
TV movies.
I love Creepshow.
A lot of TV movies like
gotta take work where you get it, man.
Like he was in the Poseidon Adventure where he played the captain, and he wasn't a bad guy there, but he's another one. He's a corrupt sheriff in some TV movie called The Night People, and there was another one that he was in, and there was another one that he was in, and so on. And he was always a kind of the heavy-browed kind of like, like that, that kind of thing. And then he reinvented himself after Airplane.
Yeah.
That's
He
Yeah,
certainly
funny.
did that.
Yeah, well, he's a goofy sucker, that's for sure. But I mean, we also do a lot of neo sci-fi. What kind of TV series that really paint maybe a direction we might be headed in? Those are always fun to talk about.
Or with me, I can talk about forgotten TV series.
Those are good too. We talk
never
about
went, maybe did 6 episodes, and everybody loved them, but they never made it. You know what I mean? The Fantastic Journey is a good example of that. There was a lot of things where they made a pilot. They made a pilot. I always love telling the story about how Gene Roddenberry tried to get his Genesis 2 thing off the ground 3 times in the 1970s, and it just didn't take.
Yeah.
It was a weird time for sci-fi back then. It was a little on the weird side, but we had Star Wars for in syndication after a while, so that was okay. I mean, Star Trek, not Star Wars. Apologize. But we got to get out of here.
Okay.
I keep seeing the boss that keeps staring at me like, what the bleep is going on? So we're not going to say who that is.
It's been so great having you on, Bob. It's great seeing you again here. And April.
Oh, it's great seeing all of you. It's good seeing all of
you too.
Especially
Thank you so much.
Especially April. It's very good seeing
any addresses?
Thank you so much, John, Joe, and Bob. Love you guys so much. I really
any web addresses y'all want to give out? Any websites?
So the website for Bob Eggleton is?
Yeah, no, it's actually down at the moment. Here's the reason why: is because it was just old. I didn't like the way that it was set up, so we're setting up a whole new thing. But you can find me on Instagram very easily, and on Facebook, and on Blue Sky Social. So I've got, like, right now, those are my 3 major social media things. But Instagram's a biggie. That's where I post mostly art.
Facebook, and we were both going to be at a LuxCon this year in Pennsylvania. So if anyone's going to be out in that area, is it Reading, Pennsylvania?
Yeah, Reading, Pennsylvania. It's a kind of a mill town, but what they did was they got this thing called the Goggle Works Center, and it's an old thing where they made something, and I forgot what it was.
It was goggles for pilots.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
that's right.
That's what they call it, Goggle Works.
And
flight goggles. Yeah.
Patrick and his wife Jeannie got this rented, and it's a big art center now with art studios and everything. And they rent this thing out, and it's a nonprofit foundation. So what they do is they have this big show there, and we just it's just floors of artwork, of it, and
amazing artists.
Yeah, incredible. It is, and you can't. There's so many people there. I don't even see everybody at all once. It just you know what I'm saying, April? It's like you know. I remember I walked up to you when you were setting up and scared the hell out of you.
And the name was your April Solomon Art, right? April Solomon Art is
April Solomon Art, and that's the same name for everything. Instagram, Blue Sky. Twitter, I still call it Twitter. We all know what I'm referring to when I say Twitter. X.
Yes, we do. I still call it Twitter
April Solomon Dragon Lady. But everything else is April Solomon Art. That's how you find me. Yes. That's my website.
Blue Sky. I'll promote it's not the biggest. It's not the biggest social media platform yet, but they do not permit AI, and also it's the easiest setup in the world. It's like a chimpanzee could do this.
I'm banned from there for life, so I can't go over there. They banned me. But anyway, about all of that, when you're chaos like me, sometimes you get banned.
Anyway, very nice speaking with both of you, and look forward to when I'm able to see you next again. Thank you.
Too. Thank
guys,
you.
Y'all stay safe out there. I know it's getting ready to be happy Halloween. Pretty soon we should see some good Halloween. We have the holidays coming up. But anyway, we got to get because I know we have another show with some very strange, weird people coming on. It's called The Chat, and the hosts over there are just, I don't know, man. There's something wrong with them people. What is it? It's insane chat for the intelligent insanity. I don't know. It's very weird. Anyway, we got to go, ladies and gentlemen. I want to thank everyone for tuning in to the Authors Quill. I'm Joe.
Thank you, Joe. Thank you, John.
Thank you very much.
Man, it's great.
Thank you.
Okay,
everyone.
Thanks again for. Thanks again for listening to United Public Radio and the Authors Quill. And come see us in about an hour on the chat. And there's a lot of good shows on. And still, don't forget Sean Hazlitt is on later tonight. Yes, he is. Just should go listen to him. Anyway, on that note, good night and stay tuned.